Hello, everybody. This is Terry Coaxum, and I am the host for the Coaxum Report. And I am super excited today. My sister from another mister, Miss Marcelle Lashley Kabor, is going to be joining us today, and we're going to be talking about Girls with Knowledge, her business. And so, as we do every week, we're going to talk about some of the barriers with our small business, but more importantly, best practices and big ideas. So Marcelle, join the show. Thank you so much for being a part of my TV show. Marcelle, how are you?
Thank you for having me. My pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. So want you to just talk a little bit, first of all, give us a little history about who you are and really what motivated you to do what you're doing. And, I could see like that big smile on your face. And so I know you love what you do. So just want you to share some of that with the listening audience. Before you do, I just want to let you know that all of everyone watching today can join us again on Apple TV, on Fire TV, on Roku. They can also download our app and watch this series again if you're interested in more information on it. And of course, before Marcelle leaves, we're going to make sure that she gives us her website so that you can go into her website and see all the wonderful and amazing things she's doing with our girls, not just here nationally, but internationally as well. So talk to us, Marcelle.
Well, I'm going to start with a couple of accolades, but not because I'm bragging, just because I wanted to connect to my story and why I am, doing what I'm doing and where I am now. So, 2-time Emmy Award winning, 12-time nominated producer, alumni of China Europe International Business School, and essentially a social entrepreneur and experiential maven. So my career began early on in experiential marketing events, large platform scale events for the Verizons of the world, the Amazons, the Apples, consumer electronics brands, and a lot of innovative leaders, right? And that kind of coupled with my education, with my global education, of course, me being a Caribbean girl, an Afro-Caribbean woman, having a global perspective just in my upbringing and in life, it really kind of meshed all of that together. I took, production and experiential marketing and kind of transitioned that into experiential education and creating those types of platforms for young people where it wasn't just a discussion about how to do something from a theoretical standpoint, but actual practical standpoint, right? You don't have to wait until you grow up. Like that had always been the mantra. Like when you grow up, you can be, and when you can be, but like you can do that now too, right? So understanding all of the barriers in entrepreneurship. And so with Girls with Knowledge, essentially what we do, I founded Girls with Knowledge in 2017. It is a 501c3 not-for-profit organization with the mission to prepare and empower the next generation of female socialpreneurs and global leaders.
I love it. Socialpreneurs. I'm writing that one down. We're using that.
Use it. And it's really because, entrepreneurship, it's particularly for communities of color, it's innate. Like it's literally around the world how we have been able to survive, not just thrive, to survive, right? We sell in the market, we do this, we do that. Like entrepreneurship has been the fabric of our beings from the very beginning of time in different forms and ways, whether it's currency or bartering or whatever. But now to transition using entrepreneurship from not just being a place where we are using it to survive, but to thrive and to create generational wealth is basically the objective. Now, us right now, just, in today, in 2022, we are still having struggles and we still face so many barriers to starting our businesses, getting support with our businesses, financing our businesses, finding capital. I can only imagine what it's going to be like for young people. And so
you're definitely speaking our language in so many different ways, because this show is based on just that, right? So what we do, and let me just let you know, at Caribbean Girl, right? So this show, you can listen to us throughout South America, right? You can listen to us throughout the Caribbean, and you can also find us, of course, here in the United States. But one of the things that I want to bring my knowledge and my expertise to talk to small businesses about barriers, because they're barriers. You just talked about it: access to capital, education, technical support. All of those things are barriers, right? But I want to do solutions as well. Absolutely. So this show is based on not just talking about those barriers. We want to talk about best practices. We want to talk about big ideas. We want to talk about, what you're doing with Girls with Knowledge. You're a socialpreneur, right? You're actually taking these young women and you're molding them, so to speak, right? You're actually creating our generational wealth from being a young person moving forward. So they have an idea about what wealth is. Even some of this some of my business, I have conversations with them. I'm like, well, what would you like for me to help you do? They're like, I want to be rich. I was like, what does that mean? Yeah. I was like, they're like, okay, they tell me all these things. I said, so you want to be comfortable, right? You want to be able to do the things you need to do when you need to do them without feeling stressed about it financially, right? And you want to build wealth. And they're like, that's it. That's what I want to do. I want to build wealth. Yeah. And so you're talking about building wealth from a young age, planting that seed very, very early. That's and right. Young people, and also meeting them where they at. Yeah. So they don't have to grow up, so to speak, right? We want them to grow into wealth. We don't want them into wealth.
That's right. I love that. Grow into wealth.
That's right. We want them to
put that in some of my marketing materials. I'll give you some credit for it too.
Same thing I'm going to do with your socialpreneur. Don't worry about it. We got this. So
collaboration.
It's exciting. Collaboration, partnerships, right? I'm excited to have you on the show to talk about all of these things. But more importantly, I'm excited because young women that are going to be able to watch the show later and that are watching the show now can understand you don't have to wait to quote unquote grow up, right? Because I remember I just finished having a conversation. I'm raising my great nephew, and I plant a seed in his head every day how he's going to be a man of God and that he's going to be wealthy and that he's going to change the world with his voice and his, and his givings and all of these things. And also reminds him that John and Andrew were the first two followers of Jesus Christ. And so his name is Andrew. So right? Yeah. So planting that seed, he's 3.
Hey, this is the perfect time. 3, these are foundational years, right? Exactly. The first 5 years are foundational years. That's fantastic.
Exactly. So that's really, really exciting. So let's talk a little bit we're going to talk about the barriers because we always start off talking about those. And you just hit it, like a couple of things, believe it or not, you hit really quickly. One, age is but a number, right?
That's right.
We're growing them into wealth from a very young age. We're planting that seed very, very young. We want them to be socialpreneurs, understanding that you have a charge no matter how old you are, right? So you have to be kind, right? You have to give back, right? Yeah. You have to do these things from a young person. Like I tell my great nephew, I said, please and thank you are your favorite words, right? So this is what you're growing with Girls with Knowledge. You're giving them that. And you with that mindset, you're bringing your experience. And then for those of you, Marcel's going to give you her website. But if you go on her website, you see her board members. Those sisters are fierce. They're doing the things, right?
If you see a couple allies, a couple allies, but we feature our powerful women.
She's like, I want you to see it because you can be it, right? 100%. So This is great stuff. And so this was birthed, I can tell, out of a heart, right? So you brought all of this expertise, your education, your experience, and you brought it to bear here in this foundation in 2017. Now, tell me a little. Well, you know what? Funny how time flies when we're having fun, right? We're gonna take a quick commercial break.
Okay.
And we got to take a quick commercial break. It's funny how time flies when you're having fun, is what I said. But we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. And then you can get into Girls with Knowledge. We'll be right back.
Next year I went back, I ended up winning and became like, got the Marvin Sims Award, which is like the best diverse actor. And they called my name, and as I walked to the stage, white kids was throwing books at me. Real talk, right off the top of the balcony, like, because this black boy won.
And then finally, one day I was just cooking in the kitchen, and she was like, "Mommy, so-and-so touched me on my private parts like this," you know? And it was that moment where, like, I had that moment where I told my mom, and my mom was the one that shut me down, and I had a choice, you know, to make.
I shot back. But you can't claim self-defense when you got an illegal firearm and you're 16 years old.
I remember my brother right here, he was selling, he was doing this, but he got a break. He could have took that money and flipped it. He could have went back, Wake and Wire money, 17th episode. I could flip that.
Even on the out there, I did not. He didn't flip the wire, but I went straight. My bad.
I was a single friend for 6.5 years, and I was going through my situationships. Y'all know the situationships, men. Then I found, just like for myself, again, like, oh girl, you still recovering from your childhood. Like, what you about to do with a man right now?
I had an agent, sometimes some years after that, tell me that if you don't do nudity, you're not a real actress.
So like they get fired. So like
you should have gotten fired that way.
Everybody's laughing. They're like, oh my God. They go, okay, great. Are you SAG? I was like, nah, I'm Puerto Rican and black.
Everybody did that.
Like, we can pick up the sides right now and start going. I know this group that I'm with is about that. We're about that. Like, I'm about the work. You know what I mean? Like
Chasing Hollywood industry.
So I saw Chasing Hollywood. I was like, yo, we don't have to change that name and do something because niggas don't own chase.
I feel like we're living. That's the term that Hollywood uses.
It's not about just today, me, and blah, blah, blah. What we are doing is being documented. Our grandkids, our great-great-grandkids can see how we all walk, talk, sound, look in our prime. And, you know, something about that is very beautiful. And I think that is another element that kind of attracted me to it, is that it never dies. You never die through this art form.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Coaxum Report. You can also catch us later on at Amazon Fire TV, Roku. You can catch us on on your Android. You download the app at our TV network. And so today I'm super excited. I have my sister from another mister, Marcelle Ashley Kabor, and she's talking about Girls with Knowledge. Her business, she has a nonprofit business, and she's doing some extraordinary things with our socialpreneurs. And so we're gonna get right back into it. Marcelle.
All right. Yeah. So no, I with understanding the barriers, but also understanding that we have to create solutions for the barriers, right? We can't just talk about problems all the time. We have to talk about how we're going to mobilize and overcome them. And I think that my contribution to that has been to go back and got a little bit of what I got when I was younger and a little bit of what I didn't get when I was younger. You know, so I was raised in an entrepreneurial family. So I remember, you know, my father having shops and flea markets, and my mother owning a hair salon, and me working in both, right? Working in, and you know, so learning how to manage the money and pricing and understanding wholesale, you know, the wholesale price that we're going to buy it for and the retail price that we're going to sell it for, or you know, seeing that also in my mother's hair salon. Being a part of an entrepreneurial family, I got that hands-on. Right. But there were also things culturally that we didn't discuss. We didn't discuss money at the dinner table because it was gauche, a little taboo. We don't talk about money, right? And what I wanted to do is I wanted to take the beauty of what I received in my childhood, the experiential learning, and also that which I think that we could have had more of in my childhood, the candid conversations about money, about economics, about running a business, and put that together in something that I can offer young people today. And that's essentially what Girls with Knowledge has become. You know, not only is there project-based learning where they can learn from an entrepreneur, a true social entrepreneur, female leader, how to start their business, but we are talking about financial literacy and all of the various things that they need to be mindful of in managing a business. Because again, entrepreneurialism, it's innate in us. We know how to run a business. We know how to hustle. We know how to, but to make sure that that business is sustainable and grows and can continue for generations. So one of the things that I tell the young people, everybody's like, I want to secure the bag. So secure the bag, you know, get in your bag, stay in your bag, keep your bag for generations to come.
That's right. And that's really, really, we're also broadcasting on Tempo Networks. So you can join us, Verizon Fios, Time Warner Cablevision, throughout the tri-state area as well. But, you know, financial literacy is really, really important. And it's unfortunate that a lot of times, just like you said, our adults, our parents, they don't want to talk about money. They don't get into that. And I think that we really miss out on a lot of the lesson that we should be prepared for. Like, you know, one of the conversations should have been had with me about paying for my education. Like, student loan, not your friend. You know, I remember at John Jay College, and even when I was at Johnson C. Smith University, the credit card companies used to stake out in front of the college, giving away the free water bottles and the T-shirts. had someone tell me, run.
That is like the epitome of
You're not
predatory
doing that
lending.
hard, right?
Yes.
You know, that was not a part of my education base. Unfortunately, fortunately, I graduated from high school at 16 years old, right? Unfortunately, I was the first in my family to graduate from high school, so there was no blueprint. There was no conversation about what next. And so a lot of that I fell into, right? So at this point in my life, I'm actually teaching. I teach financial literacy, right? I help my businesses clear up their credit scores and clean up their credit scores and get extra points and to do the things they need to do. I encourage them not to use their credit cards. I mean, and you talk about predatory lending, that 18% versus a 3 or 4% loan.
Honestly.
But they don't look at that.
Desperation, the desperation. There's a market for feeding off of that desperation. And I think, the mindset that we have, the relationship that we have culturally with money. And part of the reason why we don't have that conversation, the wealth gap, and so that's a lot of what we bring into our financial literacy with the young people and Girls with Knowledge. It is about the numbers and the budgets and this and the other and the credit, but it is also about the wealth gap and how we culturally, the relationship that we have with money and how we treat money. And then being mindful of it's simple. Do not spend more than you bring in.
That's right.
Let's start with your budget,
Let's start with that, but let's also encourage them, one, to pay your penance to God just by way of being here, right? So 10%, and then pay yourself first.
Absolutely.
I don't understand, and I remember hearing this growing up, right? I don't understand why this was a conversation. Oh, pay all your bills and then whatever's left.
No,
there won't be no left.
No.
Nothing's going to be left after that. So, encouraging, yes, pay your bills, everything should be paid on time, every time. Absolutely. But you should also make sure that you're saving something back for yourself because you're not going to build wealth on a 9-to-5. You're not going to build wealth paying everything off and not saving something back, not investing in your business, right? You don't wait until your roof fall in for you to check your business to make sure that whatever repairs need to be done are done, right? So that's a conversation we don't have, and I think it's important that you're doing this at a young age, because what you're doing, like I said before, you're pouring that seed and then you're watering it, right? Yeah. So they're literally growing up and growing into this wealth in so many different ways. Like you show them how you've done it already, right? You have these phenomenal women around them that are doing a thing, right? And so those are all their role models. And then you're giving them a blueprint, so to speak. You're literally giving them lessons. Like you're not just throwing the book at them and say, read this. You're literally giving them a step-by-step manual on how to do this and how to do this right. And that's why I'm so super excited to have you on today, because I think it's important. My most of my businesses are they're already adult businesses. They've been in business for a little while. I think it's important for us to also reach back to the young people, because one, they have ideas. Two, they and their peers know what they will and will not buy, what they will and will not purchase, what they will and will not save for, right? And so tapping into that market is extremely important, because they're able to touch a market base that we wouldn't necessarily be able to touch.
That's right.
Because that's not our reality. And so I think that's really exciting too, to have them understand that you could do more than be a consumer.
Absolutely. You can be more than a consumer. You can obviously be a producer, a high net worth producer, a high contributor. What we call it, particularly the mentoring part of it for us, is a reciprocal exchange. So I feel like in my experience growing up, I always felt like for me to find a mentor meant that I found someone who obviously is more experienced, but there's kind of a superiority that comes with that I've always felt. Right. And I wanted to make sure that was not what I brought into the mentoring platform that we have with Girls with Knowledge, particularly because I learned so much and I gained so much from them. And so just like you said, we have female entrepreneurs that come in and that are able to share with them their artistry and their story and a figurehead or an individual that looks like them, that they can see that they accomplished this too. But also you're getting from these young women that are, they're able to pour into.
Yeah, it's so rewarding, isn't it?
It's so rewarding. So it is such a reciprocal exchange, and it really, they give me just as much life as I hope to be able to contribute to them.
And that's awesome. We're going to take another quick break, but I feel that same way. I teach at Medgar Evers College and at John Jay College, and I used to teach for Bryan and Stratton, but I feel the same way. I feel like I'm imparting my knowledge and my experience upon my students, but I gain so much for them. And then when I see them later on and they're like, Professor, remember when you told me da-da-da-da, here's what I'm doing? I'm like, life.
Yes.
Life.
You're like, I said that? I did say that. You didn't know that what you said was just going to literally.
That's right. Bloom, right? Like blossom into this. Yeah, I love it. I love it. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come right back and talk some more about Girls with Knowledge. Thank you.
I used to watch BET, MTV, VH1, now I watch Tempo. Soca, Calypso, Reggae Dancehall. Don't stall, better get tuned in to the tempo. Don't have cable, they got an app. Go to your app store, download that. Whether it's tourism, cuisine, or the social scenes, if it ain't Tempo, it's a rap. Who got the Caribbean views? Tempo. It's the latest in Caribbean news. Tempo. You tryna cook Caribbean food? Tempo. You know they got the music videos too. Tempo. Who got the Caribbean views? Tempo. It's the latest in Caribbean news. Tempo. You tryna cook Caribbean food? Tempo. You know they got the music videos too. Tempo.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Coaxum Report. I have my sister from another Mr. Marcel Lashley Kaport on the line on the TV show today. And this is our TV network. We're powered by Callaloo, and we're powered by the Marketplace. And this is also Callaloo Network. We're partnered with Tempo. And I love, like, in between the commercials with the food, makes me want to go to the Virgin Islands. But this is also WSTX Bloomberg, and you can catch us on Apple and Android. So please, if you want to see us later, download our app and make sure that you're tuning in to the Coaxum Report, where we're here not just to talk about barriers, but we also are here to give you some solutions, some big ideas, and some best practices. And so, Marcel, when we went on break, we were talking about financial literacy and our young people creating these brilliant socialpreneurs so they understand, you're just by way of being here, you have a charge to be kind, to give back, to be, to really get back to yourselves, to your community, to society as a whole. More importantly, you should be building wealth while you're doing that. So,
building wealth while you're doing it. And I, one of the things, again, we talked about, the mindset and kind of, destroying historical patterns.
That's right.
As it relates to wealth and economic empowerment, but also driving home the fact that health is also wealth.
I love it.
Taking care of ourselves and taking care of each other.
That's right.
And so there is also a component of that, which is why we also talk about in our mission personal wellness, because how often do we see individuals who have amassed a lot of money, of fame, of fortune, but are unhappy for whatever reason, or have, so being able to be mindful of the fact that taking care of your health, your mental health, your physical health, how you, what you're eating. And it comes out in our budgeting class, right? So a lot of times I'll give young people a certain amount of money, and literally we'll use real world standards. I'm like, okay, $50,000 is the median that you're going to graduate from college with, right? Median salary, entry level, $50,000. What state or city do you want to live in? We'll go to I can't think of the site right now, but we'll go and we'll look up what the taxes will be, because of course you got to pay your taxes, right?
Absolutely.
So they start, and so
finish the God. That's it.
I pay 10% to ourselves minimum, right? So your charitable contribution, whatever it is that you choose to contribute to, and then also, bills, right? You've got to make sure that you pay your bills. So I give them kind of, but they can. This lesson is called "Living Your Best Life." Right? Because on the internet, I'm living my best life. I'm living my best life. So if you're going to live your best life, let's really make this practical. How can you live your best life? Mm-hmm. And often I find that they had thought about everything except for food. So I'm like, okay, so what you eating? Right? This is every 2 weeks you're getting paid. What are you eating? And they're like, oh man, now the crunch of the reality of what they want to experience in life, where they want to live, what they want to drive, all of that is hitting them. And now it's down to food. And they're like, well, I only need $100. I just need $100 a month. $100 a month, $25 a week, however many dollars a day. What are you eating? I can eat ramen, right? I can eat ramen.
No. This is where you start. So what you're saying is you just gonna eat salt and see your pressure, and then your diabetes is gonna come from that part.
That part. So we're talking about sustainability. We're talking about generational wealth, but we're not connecting the dots that generational health is also a part of general weight. Yeah.
It's really interesting that you would say that. I don't know if you remember one of our sheroes here in Brooklyn, our Deputy Borough President, Jeanette Gatson. And she had passed away some years on. And she had joined my church the latter part of her days and was experiencing cancer, was living with cancer. And I remember her and my pastor having a conversation. And then she said to him something along the lines was, all the money in the world, if you don't have excellent health, it means nothing. And he said something along the lines, well, all that good health in the world, you don't have money.
I guess we need both.
We need both.
I guess we could use both.
We do need both. We do need, and it's really interesting that we're having this conversation on this day, because I think it's really important as parents, as grandparents, as aunties, as aunts, for us to really impart in our young people how important money is. Like you said, it was a conversation you didn't have. You didn't ask people for money because you didn't want to create enemies, right? I remember, having conversations with my siblings and with my grandmother and uncles and aunts coming to the table mad at Thanksgiving dinner because somebody owed them money.
Oh my goodness!
And then they stopped speaking to them like they did something wrong because they had to pay the bill.
Oh, money.
So it's like, what did a little say is, money is the root of all evil. It ain't money that's the root
The love of money.
The love of money.
Read that thing.
It ain't money that's
not making up scripture. Read that thing. The love of money.
That part, right? So I think it's extremely important for us to have these conversations with our young people. I taught Andrew. Unfortunately, I'm gonna use that a lot when it comes to him because I have to laugh. So he has a little piggy bank. He puts all his little change in it, and so it's a little slot. And so it's important for him. Every change he finds, he said, "I got money." Then he take it, either put it in his pocket or he puts it in his little savings, right? So me not thinking, I had a shredder in my office. Now it's unplugged when I'm not using it, but I went to use it and it was making these cling sound. He done took the slot and that's a bigger piggy bank. It's a bigger savings. So
he's better be smart. You better be smart. He's like, I need a bigger
bank. He need a bigger bank.
Sharpening the teeth of your shredder.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, he absolutely destroyed it.
I love that.
There was no way of getting it back out of there.
But what that means is he's getting it. He gets the concept, and that is so important. Right. And that's literally, honestly, as funny as that is, it's brilliant too.
Right.
Because it is the experiential learning. You taught him that. He made that connection, and now he knows, I need a bigger bank. I need a bigger piggy bank. And so now we're going to say, okay, now that you put this money in this piggy bank and it can't grow, it grows, but it's not growing. Now we're going to figure out how to invest this money.
That's right.
Earn interest.
That's right.
Start to work for you, right?
That's right. And I always say that you have to let your money work for you. I think one of my best stories that I've read is The Richest Man in Babylon. Right. And I think that concept is really, really important. Let your money work for you and not work for your money. And I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, as socialpreneurs, we're working for our money. We're not letting our money work for us. And that's why it's extremely important. Now go back to this. Financial literacy is extremely important. Saving and investing is extremely important. So you can't pay out every single dime to expenses, right? And to bad debt or good debt, to debt period, without saving something back. Because if you're not saving and investing in yourself, you're never going to be able to build wealth. And I think that's extremely, extremely important. So what are some of the suggestions or some of the lessons that you are doing with the young ladies on building wealth? Because you're already telling them living your best life, right?
Living your best life. And obviously, yes. So working through the budgets. And in that, I mean, it's just been amazing to the awakening that they're having, right? And to hear them process it and then know that they're going to take this lesson into college.
Right.
They're kind of walking through this, they're going to take it into college. But then, building on what you're talking about as far as investing, the next thing for us would be diversifying.
That's right. Having your portfolio
diversify. And making them aware of various ways that you can diversify outside of just real estate. And obviously investing in the stock market or even cryptocurrency now, but understanding insurance policies, right? A whole life policy is also
and an estate plan versus a trust versus right.
And even now, my new thing that makes me feel like I'm uber wealthy is art. But there's an app. Well, there are a number of services now where you can buy fractional shares of art, the way that you can invest in fractional shares of stocks. Right. And I think that that's also a great opportunity for us to be able to own art and to own assets that are going to continue to grow. So diversifying is also, another thing that we teach. And then one of the most important is collaboration, right?
That's
one of the most
and I think that's really, really, and I was just going to hit that, investing in other business. Partnering with other business.
Yep.
I have I'm really working with a partner right now, and we have this dynamic product that we're going to bring to bear. And it's just that we're going to be investing in business. We're going to be investing in the community. We're going to take the wealth and really give back in a way that Black and brown people haven't been accustomed to. And I think it's about time. You know, one of the things that I've had the pleasure of doing is helping businesses get certified so that they can go after some of the billion-dollar spend that's in government contracting opportunities, right? But then I realized as an MWBE, the reason that we aren't as successful is we don't have operational costs, right? So you get these contracts and it's a lucrative contract. You have the capacity to do the work. You're ready, willing, and able. And then you realize you have to invest so much in operational costs to execute contracts before you even get the money, right? And so how do we become successful? And so my partner and I, we're going to get together and we're going to change the game in that. Right? And so it's really, I'm super excited about it. It's a lot of money on the table that we're leaving on the table. We want to get that money off the table and really invest back into the community in that way. And then the other part of it is similar to what you're doing, but a little different. So I have a wellness foundation. It's called Coaxum Wellness Foundation. And so the goal of it is to be the Bill and Melinda Gates of the hood.
Yes. Yes.
So what I mean by that is that I am looking to take fifth graders from the fifth grade throughout college and pay for it all, right? So they're going to have equestrian lessons and they're going to have etiquette training and they're going to go upstate New York and they're going to be able to go on retreats and they're going to have meditation and they're going to do all of these things. And the way I will build this organization and I am building is through health, right? So it's a health and wellness. So I will work with the young people. I'll work with the adults on training them on just what you're saying. I do a mind, body, and soul class, right? I also do financial literacy and resume writing and interviewing and all these. This money will then be invested back into the Wellness Foundation so we can invest in these young people. But here's the kicker. I don't want just all the good kids.
Yes.
I want those kids that no one's paying attention to, but ones that told them that they're not going to be able to do it. Because that's what we did when I was in the DA's office. Me and my sisters, we call ourselves the divas, right?
That's right.
We pulled together 100. At one point, we had 150 mentees. And we took these young people throughout all of Brooklyn. And so picture this. Brooklyn, of course, 2.6 million people, 250 dialects, 84 square miles. We took these young people, we trained them to be moderators and facilitators. And then we took them throughout Brooklyn talking about silence and the violence. And so the social workers were in the back and the police officers were in the back, but we were in the back. So if something came out the can, we were able to, maneuver it and help them to be healthy again, right? But we allowed them to talk to each other. Wow. And then we took them with the Black Cowboys up to upstate New York. And they were like, Aunt Terry, where's the pavement? Where's the concrete? I'm like, you're not in a concrete jungle, baby.
That's not anymore.
Literally just open up their minds. 90% of those young people went away to college. And these were kids they told us we could not impact.
You did that.
And particularly, I love his story. Well, two exactly. But this particular one, they told us, no. He's not, don't even bother with him. He is now a detective at the 7-7 precinct driving a commander around.
I love that. Well, listen, when we come back from break, I want to hear more about that because I want to be a part of what you're doing. However I can contribute and however I can help, please let me know.
Absolutely. So we're going to take another quick break and we're going to be right back and talk about the Wellness Foundation and talk about Girls with Knowledge and how we're going to
collaboration
and make this thing do what it do.
Right.
We'll be right back.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
Time. It has a different meaning in the U.S. Virgin Islands. It goes backwards, forwards, it stops. St. Croix is rooted in history. So much of it still remains untouched.
I remember running on these streets as a kid. This shop was right down there. It opened the same year I was born. This is where the original Crucian Hook was born. It's the symbol of these islands. And I wanted to have my hands in that very same history. I want to be able to pass it down to my family while still putting a new spin on it.
The U.S. Virgin Islands, they have an amazing culture that developed over time from all over the world.
St. John feels so untouched. Being underwater is like another world. There's no worries, there's no stress. I can just escape. This is my happy place. My passion for scuba diving came at just being fascinated with the water and wanting to be a mermaid. And this is the closest thing I can get to achieving mermaid status. Canadians just love being outdoorsy. We live for adventure, so we love anything hiking, being on the water, diving, snorkeling, and St. John has it all.
It's like some spirit is protecting the island and keeping them raw. The Makujumbi watches over the island. From up there, they keep the evil spirits away. The nightlife in St. Thomas is absolutely amazing. There's always something going on. Everyone comes together to dance and catch a vibe. We're always celebrating. We celebrate freedom, culture, the food, the smell, the music. It's always a celebration. The people here are probably the most priceless thing because they keep the culture going. There's so many different influences on these islands. Food from all kind of countries coming together in new dishes. All of us came from somewhere, but all that we call this home. The VI is a new melting pot. This is where the past and the future comes together.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I definitely got hungry.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I love the commercials.
I do.
And I love St. Thomas. That's one of my favorite places in the entire world anyway. I love St. Thomas, St. John. Thomas.
I have family there, but yes, no. And it reminds me, and two things that I definitely want to share with you about GWK and initiatives that we're really proud of is GWK Global. And what that has been is we have been able to expand now from not just providing service in New Jersey and in New York, but also in the Caribbean where I'm from. I'm Trinidadian and Guyanese.
Oh, sweet.
Exactly. And then also in West Africa. So in Ghana, we're registered in Ghana, in Nigeria, in Burkina Faso, and right now we're finishing up Cote d'Ivoire. So we have cohorts that are there. And we have also launched, and this is just kind of connecting it together, House of GWK here in Brooklyn.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Entrepreneurship incubator. So right now it's in a school and we're looking for our own location to really be able to provide service to not just youth of one particular community in a school. Because right now it's like when we're in a school, we're only
the community of the school is there.
But I really want to be able to expand and provide a hub for girls within a particular community, girls and women within a particular community. And that will also connect back and kind of bridge a gap between the girls that are abroad and GWK Global. So it's big, it's important, and I'm just really just honored to be a part of it, right?
And the thing I like about when you talk about it, your whole face light up.
Yeah,
so it shows like your passion. And I love that. I love what I do. And I like when other people love what they do. Like that's the part that, some people say, what keeps you up at night? What keeps you up at night in a negative way? No, what keeps me up at night is me planning to save the world before bedtime.
I mean, that's it. That's it. I always say, and again, this is also part of the lessons, right? Taking your vision, writing your vision, and make it plain. Right?
That's right. That's right.
And I say it's always very scary for me. I've been doing that since I was a child, and writing in my journal or writing an idea or putting together a proposal or a pitch deck now, right? And every time I put a thought down, that thing grows. It was this small in here, and as soon as I took it out of here and put it in here, it just, and I'm like, how am I going to do all of this? And then I'm reminded that where there is vision, there's provision. So it will happen, but that also just kind of speaks to the collaboration. It's not meant for me to do it by myself.
That's right. That's right.
And
it is a partnership. It is a collaboration, and more importantly, it's and I I'm a child of God and unapologetically, right. So I say, it's a part of just by our way of being here. I tell people all the time, I'm in a passenger seat, right, and God is my driver. So there's so many things, and I say it all the time, just like you did. There's so much up here, right? So much knowledge, so much information, experience that we're bringing to bear, and that's why I love the Coaxum Report, right? Yeah. I love to get on and let my entrepreneurs and my wannabe entrepreneurs and anyone that's listening to us understand you can do this, and we're here to support you in it, right? So in the marketplace, which is a part of our TV network, you can go on and you can put your widgets up there and all of your things. You can apply for business loans. You can, we are putting everything together for our businesses to be able to grow and the technical support that's needed. And so, me with Coaxum connecting you because relationships matter, right? With your global business, right? Girl Knowledge, global business, making sure that we understand the importance of what we have. We want to die empty. We want to take everything we have and pour it into whatever vessels that God sent our way, right? And I think it's really, really, really important for anyone that's in business to understand that when you give back, it comes back threefold, right? It's like the talents. I think about the story of the talents. When the talent was buried, so let me take that back. You don't need that right there. Let me hold that back, right? But the ones that actually took something and invested that talent and grew it into what it was, you got more.
That's right.
So you're getting more of that, and that's how we're making the world a better place as well. And so when we went on break, we talked about collaboration, right? And I think it's really important for all of our businesses that are listening today. And I didn't talk about, but you can absolutely listen to this again on Amazon Fire TV. You can catch us on Roku or on Android. I encourage you to download the app, Our TV, OurTVNetwork.net.
Definitely.
Download our app. This is a part of Our TV Network, but it's on the marketplace, WSTX Bloomberg Radio. You're listening to us here as well. And so I think it's really important for anyone listening to go back and kind of understand the tools, because that's what we're giving. We're giving these tools, we're giving these nuggets, we're giving our experience, but most importantly, we're telling you where you can go get more of that from, right? For me, one of my best business books, I always encourage reading, of course, because I'm a professor, but Think and Grow Rich.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite go-to. I also teach my students human resources, how to win friends and influence people.
Oh, wow.
And Getting to Yes. Those are the two books that I encourage them to read. I give them extra credit to read those books because I think it's important not just to invest back in your business, but invest back into yourself.
That's right.
So that mind, body, and soul piece that I use with that I'm using now with District 12 with their trainings, I encourage you to invest back in yourself. I encourage everyone to get up and find your time that fits for you. For me, it's in the mornings. So I get up every morning from 4:30 to 5. I meditate from 5 to 5:30. I'm on my prayer call with the Daughters of Zion from 5:30 to 7. I'm in the gym, and then I start my day.
Ooh, because you start early, Terry. You start real early. I'm like an hour after you.
Listen, E.T. Thomas said it best. He said, we only got 24 hours in our day. The difference in what you and I are doing and what Oprah is doing is what she's doing with those 24 hours.
That's right.
We can have all the money in the world. We cannot buy that time back. And so it's important for our entrepreneurs to understand that we're going to work smarter,
harder,
right? To understand that we need to invest and pour back into our businesses. We need to pour back into society, but more importantly, we need to make sure that we're pouring back into ourselves. You got to put your oxygen mask on first.
Yeah.
Before you're able to give to others. And that's why it's like super, exciting to have you on today on a Coaxum Report, talking about your nonprofit organization and all the things that you're doing globally. And then those things that we can partner on. I'm looking forward to partnering on financial literacy piece and the mentorship. I tell my students and I tell my business, you need 3 people in this world. You need someone to know the good, the bad, and the ugly, and will not judge you.
That's important.
You need someone that only know the good, because that's the person that's going to be in that room. It's going to be sounding that drum really, really hard for you, no matter what.
Yeah.
And you need a sponsor, because not everything can be free. Somebody got to write a check. And if you have those 3 individuals in your life, they'll be able to get you over whatever hurdle that you're going through, whether it's financially. We talked a little bit about operational costs. So I have sponsors. If there is a big contract that I need to work on, I go to my sponsors and they'll write the check for the operational costs. Unfortunately, most Black, brown people, we don't have a friends and family hookup.
Yeah.
So we definitely have to have sponsors in our life. And so
I'm going to need you to mentor me on sponsors.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
I need to book you for mentoring sessions.
Mentoring sessions
on sponsors.
I'm so super excited about this segment. We're going to have to get you to come back, Marcel, because
please.
we have a lot more.
And thank you again for
Definitely.
the invitation. And you can find me on The Global Goddess on social media, The Global Goddess, THEE, like Meg B Stallion, and Girls with Knowledge. So everything, we're Girls with Knowledge everywhere. Girlswithknowledge.org, Girls with Knowledge on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the places.
All right.
Global Goddess and Girls with Knowledge. But thank you.
Awesome. So one more thing you can leave with our listening audience before you sign off. What would that be?
Oh, well, you said it. Invest in yourself. Yes. Definitely invest in yourself first and invest in each other. I know we don't have time, but next time I come back, I'd like to talk to you about my new age susu that we do in our family. So susu, we make it an LLC, and then that fund becomes something that we use for investment. So
right, and I'll be able to talk about and in our next segment, I'll be able to talk about what I'm doing with my business partner, and we can add that to your susu, because we're building wealth on these streets. So thank you everybody for listening to us today. Again, you can go back and find us on Roku. You can find us on Amazon and on Android. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.